Realtors, I want to talk to you guys about something. Since I started the channel in September, so many of you have been doing the social media, and I'm so proud of you, but have said, oh, I don't feel like it's working fast enough. And this video is exactly what you need to hear. And I want to tell you the truth. And the truth is that it takes time. Social media is not a microwave result. It doesn't give you clients instantly. But when you understand and commit to the work long term for the long game, everything changes. We talked about this on Tuesday when I talked about how I grew my real estate business with one habit and doing one thing every single day. And it completely changed my business. You should be doing one meaningful action every day and one thing on social media every day. And today I want to show you what happens when you combine the habit of consistency with patience. When you play the long game, social media becomes unstoppable. In November, I had my biggest month on social media, most views I've ever had, but that does not happen overnight. When I started posting consistently on social media back in 2020, it felt like nobody was paying attention. Nobody liked the post, nobody commented, nobody DM'd, and it felt like I was getting ignored, but I kept going. Even now, sometimes I'll post something and it doesn't get a lot of interaction. It doesn't get comments or likes or whatever. And what did we say on Tuesday? That's a vanity metric. If you keep going, people will reach out to you, even when it's weird, even when it's uncomfortable, even when you're thinking, is this working? I had a meeting with another agent today as I recorded this, and they said, oh, I really loved this post you made on social media. They actually mentioned two or three posts, right? Because why? They're watching and they're lurking on my social channels. And so here's what I've learned. Social media does not reward you the day that you post. If you post something right now, it will reward you long term, months later. And I talked about that a little bit Tuesday and today on the podcast. And this is where most realtors get stuck. I firmly believe that if you right now watching this, post consistently on social media, I believe you can earn six figures in real estate and it shouldn't be that hard. I really believe you can. But this is where most realtors get stuck. They want to put the social media into the microwave, it pop out in 60 to 90 seconds, done. They want instant results. They want clients today, referrals by Friday, whatever it is. And when it doesn't happen, they quit. They assume that social media does not work. But here's the truth. It works when you, what, are consistent and are patient. It is not a microwave. It's an oven or a crock pot or whatever you want to, whatever you want to say. It bakes and cooks slowly. But my friends, the realtors who stay consistent, that's you if you can stay consistent long enough and let it bake, right? Those are the realtors that win. I want you guys to understand something, and I've briefly mentioned this before, but here's what happens when you do it. Here's what happens when you can show up consistently. You build that know, like, and trust. People trust you, people remember you, they DM you, they send referrals. Every single week in my business, I get messages from people I haven't seen in 10, 15, even 20 years, and I've talked to you about that. Not because they like every post, but because I show up. That person that I talked about not talking to in 20 years, they saw a house the other day. They went through the pre-approval process. And I'm sure that hopefully over the next few months, they will buy a home and I'll get to come here to the YouTube channel and tell you that they bought a house. I made six, seven, eight, $9,000, whatever it is. Now, the money doesn't matter, but when you do the work consistently, the deals just show up, right? I'll be honest with you guys. I had an interesting year. It's been the hardest year for realtors ever, especially since I've been licensed, but I still had a great year, as we have about 2, 3 weeks, whatever till the end of the year. I had an amazing year, but it was slower at certain points. I think this summer there was a period of time where I feel like I made like $5,000 over like 3 or 4 months. Now, had a good couple months before, good few months after, those kinds of things. So it all kind of breaks out in the end. But I remember this summer thinking like, business has been a little slower. I haven't, people haven't been reaching out to me as much. And then I kind of looked at my social media and realized, hey, I didn't post as good of a quality of content or as much content. And so I reminded myself this summer, I was actually on a trip with some family, thinking about this as I walked on the beach. And I said to myself internally, John, do what got you there. And so I went right back to posting daily, showing up. And when I did that, what happened? I stacked trust, I stacked conversations, I stacked referrals. And then suddenly the momentum hit. And it felt like overnight. Looks like overnight, but it wasn't. It was the results of dozens of tiny actions over time, like we talked about on Tuesday. If you post even right now for the rest of the month, that's 25 posts. That will lead to success in your business. Slow growth on social media, which is what happens, it means real relationships. It means the right audience. It means you're becoming a trusted advisor in your community. And here's the deal, guys. I want to ask you guys something. If you had 50 buyers contact you today, what would you do? You probably wouldn't be able to handle it all and wouldn't do a good job even if you could. Fast growth is flashy, but doesn't really lead to the success because you're going to drop balls and miss calls and all these different things and not get back to all those buyers and not give them a great experience. Slow growth, on the other hand, like social media, is foundational. You do the work, you make the post, and then somebody else reaches out, right? On today's podcast episode, I want you to go listen to it. I'm diving deeper into this, the habits and the long game on social media. So if you haven't listened to it, go check it out right after this video. But the video and the podcast fit together to show you that the long game works and wins every single time. I firmly believe no matter where you're at in your business, I don't care, not in a mean way, but I don't care if you made no money this year or 100,000 or a million. When you do the stuff consistently, when you realize that social media is not a microwave, and when you just go back to doing the things that got you there, I promise you, the success will come. I've coached dozens, if not hundreds of realtors with this same strategy. And the success always comes, when you just put stuff out organically on social media, relationship build, talk about your business, not in a showy way, but talk about your clients, make the post about them, like talk about your buckets, speak to your avatar, things we've been talking about. When you do that, you will have success. So remember, this is your reminder for today. Social media is not a microwave, it's an oven or crock pot. It takes time to cook that meal or make that post and get the deal to come. I really believe that if you can be patient on social media and consistent and do one thing a day, like we talked about on Tuesday, you will have success. So if I can help you with anything, feel free to reach out anytime. I appreciate you guys so much for watching. Hope you have an awesome weekend, and we'll talk to you guys soon.